Ladies and gentlemen, we do thank you very much for your attention, and now we invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Welcome to our top travel destinations. I am your host, Kevin Flanagan. I have been editor of the weekly travel news column in the Sunday Independent and the Fine Wine and Food Guide, and I am here to use my decades of experience to help you know exactly where to stay, eat, drink, shop, and explore when visiting the world's top travel destinations. So sit back and enjoy the wonders of travel as we take off on our magical journey together. Welcome to Kevin's Top Travel Destinations, and this week we're visiting the amazing city of Antwerp. I was very lucky to take my two grandkids, Kuba and Maya, to Belgium. The first part was Ghent, which you can hear the other podcast on, seeing the wonders of the Ghent altarpiece and the Castle of the Counts. And then we caught a train after 2 days there to spend a couple of days in Antwerp. Now, I'd never been in Antwerp before, and firstly I must congratulate Belgium on its public transport system. The infrastructure is fantastic. The trains are really so comfortable. There's no antisocial behavior. It's all very relaxed. And we were zipped up to Antwerp in an hour. It's visited and explored possibly the most dramatic station that I've ever been in. The old station is a wonder. It's got this little bit of modern art, but it's this huge old building, and it's worth going to Antwerp just to see the station itself. An absolutely fabulous mix of modern technology and grandeur, this old, wonderful grandeur coming from the Golden Age. And I think that's what really makes Antwerp stand out. It's a city that blends the past and the future. Just a little bit about its history. It goes right back to the Middle Ages, and it emerged as another important port and trading centre, much like Ghent. It flourished in the 16th century, becoming one of Europe's leading commercial hubs. And then we had this incredible golden age, which saw the construction of these stunning buildings like the railway station, and then the rise of the renowned Antwerp School of Painting, led by Peter Paul Rubens, whose house you can see. And I suppose now Antwerp is best known for its role in the diamond trade. It's the capital of world diamonds, and you've seen it in heist movies, Mission Impossible. It's always rolled out, and it's extraordinary to see the people who run it, which is the Hasidic Jewish population, and to look at their shops and to go round. The centre is very near the station, as is the zoo, and as was our wonderful hotel. We stayed in the NH Collection right next to the station, and it couldn't have been more convenient. So check that out if you're looking to stay there. Another thing I'd really recommend if you're going to Antwerp is to get the city pass. It's really your key to the city. It offers free entry to the 16 museums, the historic churches, and other attractions like the zoo. And you can use the public transport for free on it and access things like rental bikes, which we did. So it really offers significant discounts on attractions and sightseeing tours and souvenirs. I will put in the details for this in the fact sheet that accompanies this. Just one thing to note, if you are going to Antwerp and you are visiting the museums, Monday is the day they're closed, apart from the Royal Museum of the Art, the KMSKA. So always do check ahead, book your tickets online, and you'll find out exactly what the hours are. And sometimes it can be quite busy. As a dining experience, there were two places that we ate at. Antwerp is coming down with fantastic shops and restaurants, from the very lowest sort of fast food entry all the way up to the highest level. We were very lucky to eat in the Hortegrand Cafe, and it's an Art Nouveau. It's in Hopland, and it's this very modern building serving a really rich diet with this little Antwerpian twist. The Belgians have a really great take on food. They have their white asparagus, of course, and we had a great time there. Another restaurant I'd recommend is the Brasserie Appelmans. Again, details in the fact sheet, which was more basic, and it was more, I would say, right in the heart of the old city, and it had a cozy atmosphere. So what do you do when you go to this extraordinary city? Well, we started off, because of the grandkids, with a visit to Antwerp Zoo. Now, this is one of the oldest zoos in Europe, and it's very commodious, exactly opposite the train station. You just walk out of the main train station, which takes the eyes out of your head. You turn right, and there you have it. Old buildings, 950 different species, 5,000 animals. It was an extraordinary mix. You could walk it within, I'd say, an hour. And you have a lovely display where a lot of the animals are in open cages, or the birds just have this fine netting over it. And you can really interact with the animals. I have to say, the kids really enjoyed it. And it turned out to be a really, really fabulous experience. So don't miss one of the oldest zoos in Europe. Another site to see on your journey is the Royal Museum of Fine Arts, the KMSKA. Now, I have, as you know, have a great love for art. And this museum was closed for, I think, 7 years. And they spent tens of millions of euros on it. And when I was in Dublin at the ambassador's, the Belgium ambassador's residency, they actually had a spectacular commemoration for the opening. And it was great then, having seen it on a presentation on a TV screen, to actually go there. Now, I would have to say it is one of the great museums in the world. And it has again this unique Antwerpian thing, which is a combination of the old and the new. I think the kids absolutely loved it, and so did I, to see rooms which were contemporary, right next to rooms that had the Rubens and some incredible Roger van der Weydens, Van Eycks, Van Dycks. I thought the combination of this was almost disorientating, but so well done. And finally, if you do go to the KMSKA, which I would highly recommend, make sure you go and have a coffee, because it has, without doubt, the most spectacular, the most beautifully appointed cafe I have ever been in any art gallery. It's like going into something out of Casablanca, a beautiful old style cafe, great coffee, wonderful service, and just an environment that makes you just sit there with your mouth open. So what else can you do when you're in this city? Well, if you have children with you, Chocolate Nation must come second after the zoo. It's the largest Belgium chocolate museum in the world. What it does is it takes you on a journey from Africa, where cocoa beans are produced, and it takes you through each stage. It shows you the history of how chocolate has been made. It has these interactive rooms. It shows you how chocolate is actually made, and then it culminates in this tasting room where you get a little spoon and you can go around, and these little machines, you press them and they just give you a little dollop of these 18 different sorts of chocolate. Now, obviously, the kids were on seventh heaven and on a sugar kick. But it was very interesting, from raspberries to these interesting new flavors right round to the old traditional chocolate. So a fabulous, fabulous experience. And then what we did, and what I would suggest you do, is go out and see some of these old, cool neighborhoods. The one you can get, and you get trams to all of these very, very easily. They're very quick, they're very regular. There's a place called the Hetelange. Again, details will be in the fact sheet, and you can explore Antwerp's coolest neighborhoods. And this has MAS, MAS, the brand spanking new museum. It really looks like something that's landed from out of space in the middle of this old waterfront area that's now buzzing with new exciting restaurants and bars. It's very trendy, it's very nomad. You've got people working on their computers. I really loved it. The MAS Museum itself is on 7 escalators. You go up the escalators and you have these incredible views of the old port. You get the Red Star Line Museum. It had specific items that were great for kids, and they were all very interactive, and it was really, really fabulous. You can wander around that area and then catch your way back into the city centre of Old Antwerp by these incredible trams, and they run on the clock. Very, very regular, very clean, and again, very safe. There was a very safe feeling. Now, what struck me and the kids is, as you walk around Antwerp at day and night, it is so multicultural. There doesn't seem to be any animosity. It's a melting pot of all these different colours, tastes, smells, costumes. I thought it was really quite wonderful, and I think the kids did as well. You can have some fantastic dining options. I would recommend just a couple of these. Apart from the two restaurants we went to, we did actually get to see a couple of other places. There's the Jane. It's a Michelin-starred restaurant set in a former chapel. The chef there is Nick Brill, who has a great reputation. You've got the place called the Fisk Bar. It's a trendy seafood restaurant. It has oysters and lobsters if you're into that. I certainly am. And then you have this wonderful place called the Grand Market 13. It's a contemporary restaurant. And again, seasonal dishes, stylish ambience. Now, I didn't go do a lot of drinking, but we did check out a couple of bars that have really good reviews. These are the ones I could recommend to you. Culminator. This is a sort of a legendary beer bar. An extensive selection of Belgian beers, which are definitely worth tasting. So if you want to go to cocktails, Dogma is a very stylish cocktail bar. And then you have such things as Billy's Beer Cafeteria. This is a very popular and trendy spot. And the Café d'Anvers. It's probably one of Antwerp's most famous nightclubs. Again, located in a church. So you can see how everything's been reused and retooled. Shopping was brilliant. The Meer is the main shopping street in Antwerp, and it's got all the international brands, but that's really nothing new. I would rather go to a place called Konsterstraat, which is known for its antique shops and its vintage stores and these unique design boutiques, and then De Wildzee, which is a really charming district. Narrow streets filled with artisanal shops, gourmet food stores, fashion boutiques, and don't leave Antwerp without going to the Diamond District. Again, it's this extraordinary place full of jewellery stores, gemologists, and of course the security is huge for all sorts of reasons, not least that there's literally millions of pounds worth of diamonds sitting just a few inches away from you. So that's what I would say to do. Make sure that you do go to the key attractions. There's a few others apart from the ones we've already mentioned. The Grot Market. This is the historic central square of Antwerp, and it's surrounded by these beautiful guild houses and the impressive city hall. A bit like Ghent, has that old style. And then the Cathedral of Our Lady, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, no less. And it's a Gothic cathedral which houses works by Rubens. So a fantastic place. As I say, you must not miss the Museum as de Stroom Mass and the Museum of Fine Arts. One of the best in the world. So I'd have to say we had a really wonderful time in Antwerp. Ghent is small, very contained. It was unaffected by the Second World War. Antwerp took a little bit of heavy bombing, but it did restore itself. And I think what it does do is it shows you the future of a multicultural Europe where diverse ethnic backgrounds mix and get on. And they have done such a good job to blend the old with the new. I found it a fabulous experience, and I hope you get to see it yourselves.